Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your host today. Joey, let's just get down to business. So, the reason I'm recording this, and I don't typically record just random thoughts like this, is that I thought it was something that might be important. In the world of professional wrestling as a whole, when it comes to building storylines, pretty much anything is on the table. Nothing is sacred. So the reason I wanted to do this was I wanted to get people's opinions and also kind of hear myself speak it out loud. Is should there be some things that are sacred, and off limits when it comes to building programs and promos and main events, any event really. And the reason I bring this up is last night on Dynamite, I happened to catch the latest segment in the saga of MJF versus Bryan Danielson, building towards Revolution, which is next week. Neither here nor there, but it's also my birthday weekend. So very excited, looking extremely forward to it. The match has had me sold since day one when MJF punched out Regal in a dastardly heel turn, which we already knew. How does a heel turn heel? But if you didn't know, you didn't know. But it really didn't need much on top of it. I think it's suffered from it's gotten a little stagnant only because I think of the length of time they had to build from the promo. It's been about 4 months because it's a double-edged sword. AEW holds pay-per-views quarterly, and it's good and bad. Well, also maybe 5 times a year if you count Forbidden Door, because that will be reoccurring too. But it's also good and bad. There's a lot of room and buildup you need to get there. And while it started out red, white, hot, like Nova hot, it's cooled down a little bit. And I think it's because of the formulaic presentation of it. Whereas it's MJF, you want to get to him. He's the final boss. You got to go through all the minions and the mini bosses to get to him, and yada, yada, yada. It's a program we've seen many times with different characters switched in. This one being his first title defense, first true pay-per-view title defense, his real challenge, should be special. And it had all the ingredients there to make it extremely special with, Regal leaving and it just working that he leaves and he's gone from TV, and Bryan Danielson taking up the charge to avenge his fallen mentor and just really teach Max a lesson because he's run roughshod. Now, no one can take away that MJF is one of the most gifted to ever touch a microphone. He seriously is. I will thump that over and over and over and over. But the critics have always been, myself included, what is he like inside the ropes? Yeah, your character's so strong, but what are you inside the ropes? Well, he's damn good. He's had plenty of matches on Dynamite in recent, a handful of matches on Dynamite in recent memory that, Takeshita, Ricky Starks, he's had some great matches. He's really, really technically sound. Him and Punk is an all-time great with the dog collar match. And him and Punk in Chicago is an all-time great. So he's fantastic in the ring. But he's the upper elite level in the ring. Is he Bryan Danielson level? And that's the question that remains to be seen. We're going to get that answered at Revolution. So that's really all you need. Hey, you all think I'm the underdog. I'm the champion here. I'm the one. I got the Dynamite Diamond ring and the title. I got this place by the balls, and I'm going in the underdog. And that's what should work for him. And he plays chicken shit heel so well, but when he comes to backing it up, he backs it up. He can be quite vicious, and that's an exciting thing too. The last couple of weeks, however, last night included, the program has taken a real odd turn. They were incorporating, a DUI and vehicular homicide last time, which very odd. I know it's to show that the depths of depravity that MJF will sink to as a character to maintain his, stature as the devil, as this most heinous, ruthless human being. But it was really like in Katie Vick level of you know, sticking the landing there. It was just a really bad creative idea that never should have left the boardroom or the war room, the planning room, whatever. Should have never made it to the microphone. It shouldn't have. But then again, MJF is always credited doing something that we don't normally account for, and he's being innovative and trying something new, and that you got to give him credit for. But yeah, that one really missed the mark with every arrow in its quiver, you know, completely, completely. So how do we follow up on that? Well, you got to about face and change the dynamic, right? So you have Bryan Danielson out in the ring, basically straightforward telling you, hey, you guys excited? You guys ready to see me? You guys want me to beat MJF for the title? And a large contingent of the crowd, it seems like they absolutely do. And I blame that on creative and MJF because it's not setting the world on fire. His title reign is not setting the world on fire. He's not the WWE killer that I proclaimed and many proclaimed he was going to be. And there's something to be said that, you know, when you get the opportunity, once you get afforded the opportunity by creative and the powers that be, it's up for you to carry that ball the rest of the way. You can blame creative, you can do whatever you want, but once you get in between those ropes, once you turn that red light on that microphone, it's all you, bud. It's all you. And it's either you make the fans believe it's the best thing since sliced bread, or you just go out there and be serviceable. And unfortunately, it's somewhere in between right now. It's not quite sliced bread, but it's not quite, it's way above serviceable. However, last night, Bryan Danielson, you know, okay, we're a week away. Countdown's on. It's going to be mano a mano. You're going to be in my arena. You've never put yourself through a 60-minute Iron Man match. Danielson has put himself through multiple of them in his career. He is a workhorse that is almost unparalleled. Dare I say he's the best talent on their roster in the ring work-wise, other than I guess there would be an argument for Adam Cole and Kenny Omega, but he's the best. So now it becomes, okay, it's go time. Can you do it? Can you get the job done, kid? And we all know, listen, just like the heartbreak in Montreal we suffered a week ago, still stinging from that. We all knew Sammy wasn't going to get it. I mean, the intelligence in us had to know. We've been around wrestling for quite a bit. If we've been a wrestling fan for most of our lives, we knew Sammy wasn't going to get it. The writing was on the wall. It wasn't going to happen. But it was about how would they execute it. And the WWE executed it masterfully. So many near falls, no interference from, you know, Sammy's side, and nothing would make Sammy look weak. He only came out stronger. It's just a masterpiece of booking. And that's something that AEW is lacking terribly. When it started, it was all dream matches and, you know, in-ring action and 5-star matches and all that. And that's great. But it doesn't keep you tuned in. And I'm realizing that because, hell, I've missed multiple Dynamites. Have I missed a Raw or a SmackDown in the past 5 months? Nope. Or if I do, I always catch it. I missed a lot of Dynamites. But not since MJF became champ, really. I've seen at least his segments. Because that's really, they're a one-trick pony right now, I feel. So, sorry, that's my tea. With everything being said like that, it's packaged like that, it's on MJF's shoulders solely. You want to give him the best material to work with. And yeah, I'm sure the guy just wings his promos or writes his promos or whatever. He's fantastic. But with a stinker of a promo and just a head scratcher of last week with the girl named Liv, what nice little nod there, MJF. You know, following it up the way he followed it up this week, it gave me not a great feeling in my stomach. And that's why I came on the microphone. I'm as long-winded as anyone else can be, but, you know, I felt like there was a meaning to get behind this. This is supposed to be the semi-go home for Revolution. Like, this is supposed to sell your ass into the seat. If not next week, Dynamite, they got to about face and really turn it up to 11. He comes out, and, you know, MJF comes out, gets a loud pop because everyone wants to see him. You want to hate him, but you want to see him. That's the brilliance of him. You want to know what he does next. And he comes out and gets on the ramp, and his music gets, you know, a couple bars in, a couple notes in, and cut it. So now you know you're getting an intense promo. You know it. And he says, Brian, you may have these people fooled and they love you and revere you, but you don't have me fooled and they love you for everything I hate. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And he says, you're a selfish man. You have a family. And every time you get in those ropes, you put your family at risk. You put their hearts at risk. And you go in there and you do it anyway because you're addicted to the spotlight. And then he drops, the addicted to, like your drug-addled mentor, William Regal. That's powerful enough right there. That's kind of where, you could stop. That's where the in content can stop, like the behind the curtains kind of stuff. You can stop. But instead, he said something that, and I don't know, but I want to get people's thoughts on it. He said something along the lines of, I met a girl in this world. I've been discarded by everyone and looked over by everyone. And I met a girl in this shitty world. And it was the only one that made me believe that not everyone is horrible and that I'm capable of love and being loved. And I loved her so much. She was perfect. She was my dream girl. And I loved her and enough to get down on one knee and tell her I want a family and I want this and I want, a future and I want kids and I want a life. And he said, and you know what she said to me, Brian? You know what she did to me, Brian? She left me. Now, the emotion he tells this with is just star-studded. Like, it is Hollywood quality. So, not sure if it's kayfabe, not sure if it's a little bit of both, if it's real or not, but I can get to that in a moment. So, he tells that, and he goes, at Revolution, I'm going to beat you and punish you because you have everything I want and you're everything I hate you for having it. That's powerful stuff. That's really powerful stuff. And I think that's great. She left him. Now he's dejected. The only thing he has in this world is the Triple B, his AEW championship. But in the delivery of that promo, at one point, he refers to something. He goes, I've got nothing to live for. And the only thing that keeps me from swallowing a fistful of pills and calling it a day is this title. Now, this is where I put the referee hat on. I blow the whistle. No. This is something I'm uncomfortable with. And it takes a lot to shake me. I'm not a snowflake. This was a artistic change or input that I wouldn't have gone with. I wouldn't have gone with it because, like, right now, let's just face it, in the world today in 2023, men's health is extremely relevant. Suicide is very rampant. Addiction is extremely high, and mental health is a big issue and obstacle that people overlook, especially men's mental health in society. We're told to just be tough guys and swallow it and chop wood and be lumberjacks from, 200 years ago, when really we have feelings too. And it's really hard to reference something like that. Now, what I don't understand, one, I hate the choice. It's never funny to joke about suicide. I don't care. It's never funny to refer to suicide, especially in the terms of a promo. I think it's just low-hanging fruit and just it's rotten fruit. You shouldn't touch it. Should not be touched. It's right up there with faking heart attacks in the ring. It's up there with necrophilia. It's right there. And yet he went for it. Maybe he was using it as catharsis to get it off his chest. If so, Max, I hope somebody gives you a hug, because nobody, even somebody like you and the character you portray, whether it's you or not, is worth feeling like that. Nobody. And this one struck a chord with me because I can speak from experience. I am a very happily engaged man, but there was a time in my engagement where, via COVID and mental problems and issues that I was having on my own, addiction issues, that I created a split and a vortex between me and my fiance. Now, one, we couldn't see each other because the borders were closed for 2 years, so that puts a kink in anyone's relationship. But two, I was just behaving like a spoiled child, and I let my addiction run rampant, and I drove her basically away to the point where she just didn't want to see me suffer anymore and couldn't help me be miserable anymore. So what I had to do, not to get her back, but I had to realize for myself, I had to find out how to love myself again, which is a daily process. It's not easy, Max, if you are going through this in real life. And I use air quotations because I don't think it's above you to use this as a storyline. I don't, for some weird reason. But if you are, just remember that there's always reason. You always have people, even you. Max, I've seen you on social media. When the talent from WWE NXT got cut, I can't remember his name right now. Anyone in the comments can help me out. But when he got cut for a post from his ex-girlfriend that had him shaving his mustache mid-shave, and he did what appeared to be a Nazi salute. Everyone flamed him for it. Everyone came out and just trounced him, said he's a Nazi, all this and that. In the world of cancel culture that we live in, it's a pretty dangerous world. If you tiptoe once, you fall off the cliff forever. And you came to his aid. And you said, no, he's not anti-Semitic. I actually shared, I lived with him. I know him. I trust him. This is taken out of context. If you were truly that horrible of a human being, you wouldn't even have gave a shit about this person. So you care. There is a chink in that extremely cold, dark armor that you wear. At least your character-wise. I happen to believe that I bet you're a really decent human being in real life, and this is just the most elaborate kayfabe ruse that I've ever seen. Not you and Naomi per se, but your parents and everybody else talking about your backstory, about how horrible of a human being you truly are. I don't believe it. I think you're just so dedicated to your craft. And even if you are this horrible of a fucking human being, you don't deserve to feel like you have to end your life. That the thought shouldn't even cross your mind. So, to me, the question I posed, should something like this be sacred? I feel it should be. I feel that whether you like it or not, we're not all smarks. We're not all marks. Some of us are very impressionable people that will watch the television, younger kids, and maybe they see Max as a hero. And maybe they're going through a breakup right now, or an engagement broken up, and they feel the same way. And you got somebody that you revere on TV saying, all I want to do is take a fistful of pills and end it. Maybe they take that out of context and they have a really worse or shitty night and they do it. You've just advocated for that person to end their life. And human life is precious, no matter what. And we all say, I want to fucking kill that guy sometime. Human life is precious, all of it. And it's sad because this is a faux pas on Tony Khan's part. I mean, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm coming out and saying, listen, that promo was not fucking called for. I don't want anything like that again. If I'm Tony Khan and I advocated for it and I agreed to it and I approved it, then I'm a fucking idiot. And I really don't know what I'm doing with my business even more than I thought. Because, Tony, you seem like a nice guy, but you seem like you're woefully out of your depth again. You shouldn't be, especially on Turner Broadcasting, you should not be joking about suicide. You should not have anything alluding to suicide. You should not have anything really negative towards addiction. It's a really tough day and age we live in. Not everyone's going to take it with, a pinch of penicillin and say, oh, it's okay. It's just a storyline. Some people are going to flame you for it, and rightfully so. What I think this was more perplexing as, it did nothing to strengthen Max going into Revolution. He's the heel. Now are we supposed to feel sympathy for him? It's a very confusing storyline. And then, the part where he talks about Bryan Danielson's kids, and Bryan Danielson says, don't you talk about my kids or I'll kick the shit out of you. But he lets him talk about him and then kicks the shit out of him. It takes a good minute or so to get down to him when he should have dashed out the ropes and went right at him. This isn't Samoa Joe going, Wendy, to AJ's wife. That was cool. That was good. That was funny storytelling. That was elaborate storytelling. This is just clunky. And I think people need to understand that, yes, it's wrestling. And yeah, you want to get heat, but some things should be left off the table. Heart attacks is one for me, probably because I lost my dad to a heart attack. But addiction is tough. And suicide is the big no-no. Don't ever fucking talk about suicide. It's just not right. So, Max, I hope you prove everyone wrong at Revolution. I know this is the vehicle. They picked an Iron Man match because everyone thinks you can't do it. I know you can do it. I think you have unbelievable chops in the ring. I think you're going to prove to be one of the best ever. I think you should just rethink some of these things. And if you are going through this true breakup and you're not using it as an elaborate storyline and not having Naomi pop up at the end of Revolution to help you keep the belt, then I feel for you, man. But if this is an elaborate storyline, all I got to say is this is going to probably hurt Naomi really bad. And she is a promising artist who's wonderful work. Better rethink this because her career could take a hit from it. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards this is real because I don't think she'd self-sacrifice herself like that. And anyone who's worth their salt wouldn't want their wife or fiance to do the same. It's going to be a ride to Revolution. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts below. Again, it's all entertainment, but sometimes some things should be just better left unsaid.